Here we go. 6 days and the GOP presidential candidates will finally share the stage for their first primary debate of 2016 right here on the Fox News channel. So let's revisit some of history's most memorable debate moments that we always like to go back to and revisit. Joining us right now is the director of the UVA Center for Politics, Dr. Larry Sabato. Dr. Sabato, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're really buzzed about this more than most, although we are here. You want to bring us first, set the stage for 1980, Reagan and Bush.
Yes, this is the kind of classic debate moment that we look for and will be looking for next Thursday night. It was Ronald Reagan versus George H.W. Bush in 1980. Reagan was on the ropes. He had just lost Iowa to George H.W. Bush. If Bush had won New Hampshire, he probably would have been the nominee and president back in 1981. So Reagan came into New Hampshire. He wanted a forum. George Bush thought it was just between Reagan and Bush, but 4 other Republican candidates showed up. Reagan insisted they be included and said, I paid for this microphone, and he had paid for it. Bush refused to let him in. Bush looked like a poor sport. Reagan won New Hampshire and the presidency.
Let's revisit that moment.
Is this on? Mr. Green,
Can you turn that microphone
you
off,
asked
please?
for me if you... I am paying for this microphone, Mr. Green.
Wow. Who was he talking to?
Well, he was talking to the moderator. There was a moderator there, Mr. Breen or Mr. Green, and so he was talking to the moderator about turning the mics on so that the other candidates could be included, and they were standing right behind Reagan and Bush. So it was a giant moment for Ronald Reagan that turned things around.
Right, and they see John Anderson leading in the background. Then you don't have to look too far back to remember this. The year's 2011. He was our guest yesterday. Governor Rick Perry forgot all 3. Listen.
3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? And let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
What did that mean?
Well, of course, it's embarrassing, and those of us who never forget anything, I think, can be very critical of it. But essentially, Rick Perry was already on the decline. He had ruined his candidacy with some pro-illegal immigrants comments about the DREAM Act in Texas before this, in a prior debate. But this was the final straw when he couldn't remember that 3rd agency that he wanted to eliminate in the federal government.
And finally, Walter Mondale against Gary Hart. He hearkened back to a moment that stood out for Wendy's. Listen.
When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad. Where's the beef? Yeah.
And where's the beef to Gary Hart? What was the significance of that?
Well, this was classic old versus new, future versus past. Gary Hart had been talking about new ideas and high technology in the future, and he was a young, dashing senator. Walter Mondale was the old, defeated vice president of the United States. So finally, Mondale, having lost New Hampshire in a landslide, turned to Hart and said, hey, these new ideas you're talking about, where's the beef? And that was a wonderful line from a Wendy's hamburgers commercial. It's too bad that you're not playing it right now, because all those people who don't remember it would get a kick out of it.
Absolutely. And a little bit later, Walter Mondale would have the tables turn when Ronald Reagan made the age comment that my opponent's youth and inexperience shouldn't be held against him. Dr. Sabato, always great to look back. We need another 2 hours to go over all the significant moments, but I'm sure we'll get some next Thursday on Fox. Thanks, Dr. Sabato.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.